I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought.
I can tell you that 7 years after Freddie Gray, that was 2015, spring, April, May. This is 2022. Communities like Sandtown, all we saw then and now in terms of investment was a renovated Western District Police Station and a new funeral home. That's what West Baltimore got. A new police station and a new funeral home. What kind of optics are they? Was Freddie Gray any different than 1968 Baltimore riots? Dr. King's passing, killing, murder? Is it the same?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I think, well, first of all, people who are being violent and burning, that's, you know, all that's the same. But the point is what was the cause and what were they attempting to register?
I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns.
I love you.
They deserve an ounce. It's got next. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns.
Good morning. We are here. Bless the Lord. Oh, my soul. Listen, we have a guest coming up, Miss Shameeka Hunt. We're going to talk about real estate and her electrical engineering background and how all of that works into play. Just wanted to take a moment and share that I attended the monthly happy hour for East Baltimore Development Incorporated. Big ups to EBDI, Cheryl Washington, and all of those people who attended last night's Stay in Play. You know, it didn't dawn on me until the last minute that this event was going on at the same time that a Ravens game was going on. Imagine the chagrin on my face when you're over east and you're trying to get west because you just want to watch the game. I want to watch the game at home so I can cuss and fuss and not be looked at like I'm crazy. Okay, so now you know. But I wanted to share a poem, and the reason is I experienced some cyberbullying this week, and I want you to know you do not have to take cyberbullying from anyone. And this cat, like 69 years old, he was older than Harriet Tubman. People, whether it's on social media or in real life, you do not have to stand up to bully. You do not have to fall for the games of bullies out here. He thought I wasn't going to smack him. With the ink pen, that is. Boy, did he get a surprise. So anyway, this is for all of you out there as a reminder, because we're always talking about the kids. The kids ain't this, the kids ain't that. Where do you think the kids get it from? Where do you think they get it from? All of this miscreant behavior in the streets of Baltimore, where do you think they got it from? They got it from their mother and their father. Bottom line. Or they didn't get it from their mother and father. But it all starts with the mother and the father. The same two people that it took to make them are the same two people that it takes to raise them. We read in the papers and hear on the air of killing and stealing and crime everywhere. We sigh and we say as we notice the trend, this younger generation, oh, where will it end? But can we be sure that it's their fault alone? Are we less guilty who place in their way so many things that lead them astray? Too much money, too much idle time, too many movies of passion and crime, too many books not fit to be read, too much evil in what they hear said, too many children encouraged to roam, and too many parents who won't stay at home. Kids don't write the movies, they don't write the books, they don't paint gay pictures of gangsters and crooks. They don't make the liquor, they don't make the laws, they don't make the cars, and they don't make the bars. They don't make the drugs that muddle the brain. It's all done by older folk, greedy for gain. Delinquent teenagers, oh, how we condemn the sins of the nation. We blame on them, but by the laws of the blameless, the Savior made known. Who is there amongst you to cast the first stone? For in so many cases, it's sad, but it's true. The title delinquent fits older folk too. So without further ado, we welcome to the show, Miss Shameeka. How you doing, lady?
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
That was a great poem. I appreciate that because it fits very well. And so why I'm here and what my passion is in developing people, and education, information is knowledge. Knowledge is power, no matter what age you are. And we're always should be in a continuous mindset of learning, grooming, stretching ourselves, and being a good citizen to ourselves and to others. So thank you for that, Donnie. That was a great start to the morning.
You're welcome. You know, when I think of Virginia Tech, Shameeka Hunt's not the first thing that comes to mind. What was it? I've been there.
Yep.
That I guess you would call it the quad. The quad is surrounded by, well, one of the things that I saw, the quad was surrounded by that. Some quarters where the black people lived at. Right?
Well, it might have been back in the day, but I don't know what was there.
No, back in the day. Back in the day.
It's all surrounded by the drill field, what we call the drill field, that you got to cross over from living over to the classes.
And that's in Lynchburg?
No, Blacksburg, Virginia.
Lynchburg, Blacksburg. All I know is 6 p.m. I needed to get to some concrete and some asphalt. I need to see some city lights.
Yeah. So I heard you asking, like, why Virginia Tech? So I'm from Montgomery County. I'm from Maryland. Had no clue what about Virginia Tech, and going out to Blacksburg, of all places where the cows and the country existed. But I went there ultimately when I decided to get into engineering. They were a well-known school back then, continue to be. And it really was just setting that path. You know, my parents have always continue to be big on education and supported myself, my sister, now the grandkids on go where you want to go, be the best that you can be. But one thing that my father said, you have 4 years. I finished my engineering undergraduate degree in 4 years because
but that's a 6-year degree, I thought.
Most people do it in 5. But I had 4 years. That was my clock, or I just had to come back home. And I do have that.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe if you needed another year, he was going to do it. Why he do that?
That, you know, my parents raised me to be a strong Black woman, independent, go get what I want.
You ain't never. Me and Dad would have been fighting. I need another semester.
I love my parents set a good foundation and a good work ethic.
You got a 6-year degree in 4 years.
Well, it's doable. It's doable. It's all about mindset. It's all about focus. It's all about being self-driven, self-motivated.
I'm damn self-driven. I'm trying to fit.
So yeah, I mean, I originally, when I was younger, thought I'd be a corporate lawyer. That was my thing. But as I, got older, I don't know what that point was, but I enjoy math. I enjoy science. I enjoy.
How much do you love math? See, had they told me about the Egyptians and the pyramids and the Pythagorean theorem, had they told me that the Pythagorean theorem, like the Pythagorean, we don't know no black people named Pythagorean, but that theorem came out of Africa. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So I submit that they got to get more Afrocentric with the math to make it more relevant to black people. Like flip the dollar bill over and show kids that pyramid on the back of the dollar bill, which is a perfect 90 degrees all the way around. You ain't falling for it.
I'm not falling for it. But it all starts, I'm a big proponent, like I said in the beginning, of learning, education. I went there, did what I had to do. That's where I met my husband, almost 20 years, now married. The big thing for me and why.
You went to Virginia Tech too?
Yes.
So you both are lynching survivors down there. Oh, okay.
That's not nice.
It wasn't that bad. All right.
It's a mindset. It's whatever anyone chooses to do. One, you got to love it. One, it's got to push you to be bigger, to be better, to stretch yourself. And why I love engineering and why I love even what I do at any point, in my life is one, yes, the growth, but it's the realm of possibility. I always encourage people that whatever your dreams are, whatever your passions are, write them down. Don't forget them. But more importantly, what are you doing to put those things in action? We all have, from, like you were just saying in your poem, we're all young, we all grow up or don't grow up. And what are you accomplishing? What are you achieving? What are you giving back to yourself, your family, community? What's important to you? A big thing I teach my kids now is there's no electronics during the week. My dad used to call that the stupid tube, because what is it doing to challenge your mind and getting you that 1% every day closer to who you were created to be and to be bigger and better?
I don't know, and I want to try to answer your question. I don't know, but I know last night at the happy hour, I saw a grown man watching video games in the middle of the happy hour. And I said, "What are you doing?" Well, and he was really into it. It was like one of them sword games or Mortal Kombat.
Minecraft and all that, yeah.
And in the middle of the happy hour?
Yeah. So
that took me back to my nephew's super infatuation with Star Wars back in the day.
Yeah.
Remember those initial Star Wars geeks? It was somebody in the family, and you like, yeah. You saw that they were touched. You saw that with Star Wars because they were just a little too into Chewbacca and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. So going down that path, there's always. So did my undergrad in engineering, did my graduate in engineering. One thing, not related to real estate or engineering, but I would encourage any parent, any person listening, really strategize, think about what and how you can get ahead without, because it goes into being in debt, which is relatable to when we're talking about, your overall portfolio and lifestyle. That was one thing that I knew my parents were done paying for my 4 years undergrad, that my first job out, I was strategically looking at places that pay for free my graduate degree.
Oh, so wait a minute. You went to school for 4 years that should have taken 6, but you didn't have to work.
What do you mean work? I worked in the winter and the summer times. Absolutely. I even took classes if I came home at the local community college.
She ain't going for that. She's like, hell no, I had to work too.
I had to work. I've been working since high school. That's just the work ethic, But that's something.
And go to school and get out at 4. That math ain't adding up. Okay.
So went while I was working full time. Also went to school at nighttime at George Washington University to get my master's in electrical engineering. And a key thing there, and I always encourage young people or older people looking to go back, think about how you can set yourself up to successfully obtain that degree you want with not a lot of debt coming back to you. You know, there's many places
totally
out here.
agree.
Yeah. And that's what I did. And my strategy was my first job that I had coming out, paid for my graduate degree, didn't have any debt or anything. But again, that was another.
So you really don't have an opinion on Joe Biden canceling some student loans for some people?
I don't have an opinion about it, but
give it all, Joe. Give it all. They talking about dumping Joe. Let Joe finish forgiving these student loans first. Don't let Joe go. We need Joe.
Yeah. So
they owe me my reparation check. Tell them to take it out of the reparation check. But I will say this. I wasn't smart like you, but I will say the investment in my education was the greatest investment I ever could have made. And I would have, short of giving up a limb, it was worth everything. Absolutely. Especially considering in 1983, when I graduated in Baltimore, they were killing people. And so any young man I meet, especially in Baltimore, at 18, I encourage their parents to send them away for at least a year or two. So I only stayed in Atlanta 4 semesters, but it saved my life. I'm convinced. Because when I came back home,
different perspective, different mindset.
But also I saw with the people in my neighborhood, their perspective was dwindling. I saw people from this block sticking up people from that block, and we all grew up together.
Correct.
The game had changed. So yes, a young 18-year-old in DC, Baltimore, Prince George's, get him out of there. Send him, let him go see something. Plus my mother said, now, my mother was strict like this. She said at 18, you're leaving.
You gotta do something. You're not sitting around.
That was the rule. College, military. Can you imagine my father trying to talk to me about West Point?
No, but don't push back.
It wasn't working because all I saw was Sergeant Carter breathing down my neck saying, 7 o'clock in the morning, get up. We're going to go take that. No, you're going to go take that mountain and I'm going to be watching from over here. It just didn't gel with me too well. I didn't trust him.
Yeah,
but mom said at 18. She also said, don't bring no babies in here in the meantime. And number 3, own your house. She batted 4 for 4. Okay, so
that's good. That's good.
You had to work, you had to go to school, you got 4 years, and you smiling the whole way. Okay, so then you got
there's no reason not to smile.
You damn happy for me. Okay, so you get the master's, you challenge yourself, no debt. Me and my daughter and I, thumbs up, no debt. She understands it. And keep the credit score high. So I guess that's one and the same.
Correct. And people can't get away of student loan debt, but it's understanding what the impact, if anything, since you brought up the credit, what it means as far as your credit and the impact. So before I jump to that, I want to make the transition because anyone's like electrical engineer, real estate. You have to think of it, and my mindset is whatever I do, whatever I've done, whatever I want to do in the future, to me, it's all about a business and developing people. So when I'm an engineer to me is just a mindset. I think very analytically. I was in program project management. I'm really good when it comes to setting a budget, a schedule, just sticking in the scope. And when anyone thinks about that from a perspective of like what you, Donnie, do, what anyone does in their career, it's really a mindset of developing people. Are you developing yourself? You always have to stretch yourself. Are you also looking to be able to help and reach back and develop other people? And when you're doing that, you're really just, disguised as whatever your title or whatever your profession is.
And see, I thought you would have said something about an engineer, the correlation between engineering and real estate or real estate business. I just knew you were going to say something about a system.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a system, and yes, as engineers, program management, I like processes, procedures, creating things that are repeatable. You're not reinventing the wheel. However, when you think outside the box, this is where my analytical mind goes of if there's ever a challenge, if there's ever a problem, that doesn't stop me personally. I'm always thinking of, okay, well, what are potential solutions? Whether that's in your personal, in your career, in your finances, in every aspect of your life. And there's a lot of transferable things. So while engineering might seem totally different from real estate is a passion. I enjoy, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's about, to me, the educating, the knowledge. It's bridging that gap of people saying, I don't know who to reach out to. Well, let me help you. I don't know everything, but when you come to me, and I'm going to be very transparent, communicative, if I don't know, I'm going to help you find the problem, find the solution to the problem, but ensure that you as an individual are well informed and well educated. So when you make a decision, you're making a wise decision, not just because someone wants to push you or just says to do something. But me personally, I wanted to know why, or show me, to have some level of understanding, even not being an expert.
Okay. I got a challenge for you. I got a situation that needs a solution, Miss
I may not have all the solutions, but I'll help you.
No, you done qualified yourself to be mayor and governor. Okay.
No. Okay.
You're engineer. Here are the variables. Here are the factors. X equals negative B plus or minus. No, I'm not going to do that. We have a situation. I'm sitting you with the quadratic equation. I still remember that from summer school. I'm scarred for life. You engineers. How do we turn Baltimore City and Prince George's County public school systems around?
That's not going to happen by just the teachers and the staff. I'm not saying I have all of those solutions, but I think it's also meeting the children, meeting the staff where they are, and giving people vision, giving people hope, sharing information with individuals. Because you mentioned earlier of getting out of your bubble, getting out of what you know. You know, when you get that exposure and a broader understanding of the world at large, you know, the world is bigger than Baltimore. The world is bigger than Prince George's. Many of get out community to be able to appreciate what they have, but then to expand your mind. It's all about expanding your mind to new ideas, new things, and the realm of possibility. And that's also what I enjoy of whether it's engineering or real estate or, you know, in my home. You know, it's always about the realm of possibility, to where I personally, as a mom, I have 2 young children. I'm always pushing them to be their best. I'm always challenging them and coaching them. You know, you can't always, you know, just point your finger and yell at a kid and, you know, force them to do something, but allow them to think critically, you know, challenge what they're saying or what they're thinking. And a lot of times we all learn from our lessons, but coach, don't always be the, you shall do this because I said so. Well, one, you know, as adults, you mentioned the mom and the dad, the parents, are we exemplifying what it is that we want for our children and from our children? That's key. You know, what is your lifestyle? What are the things you're watching, you're listening to?
Yeah, you can't tell your kids not to smoke weed when you got that Johnny Walker up on the shelf every day, little Jamal coming from school.
Yeah, and given an outlet, like do things. I'm big on family, you know, going out, do things together, you know, learn new things, explore new things, go to new places. It's really that togetherness and that cohesive, the family. I'm really just big on, you know, the family. So it takes a village. We all have heard that growing up. Yeah, it takes a village to raise a child, this or that. yeah, that is true. But I also believe it takes the home, and
It
those
starts
people
at
that
home.
say again.
It all starts at home.
Mhm.
It's hard to be in a healthy relationship where you've never seen one.
Correct. That's correct.
They
But
say,
then if because we all do grow up at some point and then can make independent decisions on our own. And at that point, when you're not under mom and dad or grandma, grandpa's roof, we all have to mature, and we can't always use what I think are excuses to say, oh, it's because of where I came from. It's because of, well, you see a lot of people that break that cycle. You see a lot of people that don't lose their hopes, their visions, and say, you know what, one day I'm going to do better. I'm going to leave where I'm at. I'm going to be the change agent.
some people call it the ghetto serenity prayer. I'm going to call it the poverty serenity prayer. Some people don't make excuses. They just say, F it. They just say, the hell with it. I'm not going to college. When I hear people saying, oh, college is not for everybody, neither is the penitentiary.
Yeah.
Half of the prisons are filled with us. Half of the murder victims are us. I had a lady come on this page and say, don't shame the young people who don't want to go to college. But I'm reminded of all of the people after they get a 10-year stint in Jessup, Lawton, Rahway, then they get their GED while they locked up. Wouldn't it have been simpler to get it before? Granted, there are all kinds of situations out here.
So
like 60 being passing. 60 is not passing. I mean, you just got half of them right. I bet your dad was I bet you brought your dad 97s. He like
A's and B's. That's even with my kids. There's nothing acceptable beyond that.
I brought my father 97. He was like, where my other 3 points? I'm like, what you talking about? I studied all night for this. You got 3 of them wrong.
Yeah.
What manner of beast is this?
Yeah. So you talk about, and we're kind of merging. So I want to merge into the knowledge, the education, wherever people may be in trend. And I want to transfer that over to like my why, why I got into real estate. What is my why? What is my motivation? What is my big thing? Because people, it's a profession. It's a disguise of being in real estate, but really my goal is to develop people. And it just relates to the industry of homes, home ownership, housing, whatever the case might be. I first got into this over 14 years ago because my husband and I wanted to get into investing and invest in properties. So that was my original why. People say, well, why did you do that? That was my original why. And I knew myself, and we were fully capable I was fully capable to learn, to take tests, and to do anything that anyone else could do. What would stop me? Nothing stops me but myself. So that was my original why. I wasn't looking beyond that, but just given my personality, I'm attentive to detail. I'm very analytical. My communication and just doing things right. I want to do things when I want to do them and not wait for someone else. And that was a big motivator for me too, of why I got my license. Because when I'm ready to move, I'm ready to move. So that just grew into, I know people. I love to network, bring folks together. How can I help? Again, it's about the businesses of helping people. People come first. And so that is what has matured over this time. And the biggest thing for me is the value add. When we go back to it, most people want to reach out and say, oh, I want a home, or I got to get a home. But from my perspective is there's so much more that comes before you even considering that. But understanding from the perspective of what is your why, your motivation for home ownership or getting
I'm tired of paying rent and not having nothing to show for my rent.
That is a big thing. But also what I did, I always like to go against the
That
odds
was
and the
my
negative.
why. That was my why. That was it. I was tired of paying rent and not
Yeah, you want
having
to put that
anything.
money back into yourself and to see that as
No, my mother said at 18, own your house. By 32, I was on that track.
yeah. So the big thing is for me, again, from the beginning, it's always preparation is key so that when the opportunity presents itself, and the opportunity here is for you to own a home or move up in a home, or is are you ready? But before you even get to that point, because I always tell people finding a home is the easy part. But let's consider, what is your lifestyle? Where are you at now in your career, your job? Where are you at in your familial status? Are you single? Are you married? Do you plan to have kids? You know, setting people up for success, because there's nothing worse for, in my perspective, to rush and do something too big or too soon if you're one, not financially stable, understand your debt to income ratio and be indebted, and then you move into a home not understanding that now you're just in the home and there's maintenance that comes with that. You know, life is going to throw you challenges. You know, do you have your emergency fund built so that when things break down or someone gets sick or you lose a job, you can still maintain and live in that home because you've not stretched yourself too thin. So for me, it's all of those things before saying I want to own a home or I want to move up or get an investment property, to say, okay, well, where's your foundation? And to me, that's the big thing of knowledge, understanding, and doing always a self-reflection and self-correcting to say, what is your budget? How are you say you want to own a home? So do you have a stable job? You know, are you saving? Are you paying off your debt? Do you have that emergency set aside? And then you can go from there. You know, if you're married and you're looking to have children at a certain point, understand once you have those kids, you're going to have daycare. You're going to have everything that comes along with it. And that should not be a burden, but you should already be prepared and thinking ahead of not just where I am now, but where I want to go and where my decisions as it relates to my home and where I live, how that fits into the overall lifestyle. So for me, it's that overall lifestyle. You're not just getting, oh, I just want to go show you a home and get you in a home. To me, no, it's about one, the relationship, but understanding your how, your why, and making sure you're set up for success beyond that home move or this, you know, those types of things. So Donnie, that to me is really what resonates of real estate and home ownership and all of those aspects is the preparation. The preparation is key. The knowledge is key. The foundation is key, because too many times people stretch themselves or aren't doing things at the level they're at now. Not saying that over time you won't grow and can leverage where you're at, but making sure that the emergencies, the family lifestyles, whatever the case might be, the loss of a job or, you know, spouse or things of that nature, do not impact you to where now you're in worse off situations.
All right, Shameeka, all that sound nice, but life happens and it don't go down all that sweet and clean.
But that's why people, and I see this all the time. And when you talk about processes, why don't individuals have a budget? What's more important to you, more so when you can say, what's going to return? It's an ROI. What's my return on my investment that I'm making from a day-to-day perspective? You know, I would beg to argue with you that most people that are listening or that we talk to probably don't have a budget, probably don't track that budget on a daily basis, probably don't change that budget and include those emergencies, because like you said, life will always have an emergency. What's your emergency fund? You know, what's your operating funds? You know, it's a mindset of not working out of debt, but operating out of your operating funds. You know, your income and what's in your checking is what you are paying for those things on a day-to-day basis.
All right, Shameeka, so you never slip out a budget. You never just get on the shopping network one day and just like go crazy buying
Not anymore.
Or
No, no, not anymore. I don't.
Perfect.
And,
You ain't never bought too many scarves.
oh no, I used to, but that's the problem. Because when you look back over time and look at what frivolous things you might have bought and paid for,
Come on, give me a little snippet of a mistake that Shameeka, because you ain't never.
oh, I like to shop. My husband will tell you I like to shop, but that's also why we get on a budget, understanding that, okay, there's boundaries. There's boundaries where you have your fun money, and there's boundaries of lifestyle. There's boundaries of wanting to go on vacation. You know, there's all these things that we want to do. There's things of kids' activities. There's so much in life like going on, but you've got to have a perspective. You can't just go out there and put a card and have no insight into where your money's going and flowing.
So look, I know you think you're running this interview, but I need to ask you a question. What is one spouse's role as we are getting our life together? Or are you saying, I gotta have my SHIT together before I even get a spouse?
No, because none of us always are perfect.
It's a couples ministry. How does that work?
Yep.
It's tough enough me trying to ride my skateboard, but then you got somebody else trying to ride a skateboard, and if we're not careful, we're gonna both break our neck. So school me on that.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, earlier on when you're young and like I said, you want to do your own thing. People are like, I have my own job. I can spend my money the way I want it. But some of that, and this was learned over almost 20 years now, is what is marriage, the rudimentary. We're united. We both in a couple relationship have our own opinions, and no one should suppress your opinions and your thoughts and your dreams and aspirations. But how do you balance that with your partner or your spouse? You know, everyone can achieve their goals, but you can't go into it with an I mentality. It's a we, and it takes constant communication. You know, it's not easy. It's not always simple, but write down, have a weekly meeting with your spouse or partner, whatever it takes to sit down and say.
I was thinking that. So
yeah,
the two spouses have to. I was wondering, you have a weekly meeting. We're going over this.
Yeah, you sit down, and I mean, on the budget I have, I can do stuff on a daily to see what the money's coming in and out. But then you always got to sit down, especially if it's not just you, a spouse, and we do it weekly to say, okay, and especially going into the next month, where was our shortcomings? What is coming up in the next month that we can plan ahead and have to adjust our budget? But you've got to agree to disagree, but then when you make a decision, you're making it in unity, knowing that you're doing it for the best of you both and your family.
I would not want to go over budget with you. I could not. I could like, no, I do not want to hear about it. No, I don't want it. No, forget it. No, I'm not going to hear about that this Sunday. No.
It takes learning. I tell you, I was never big on, but I do now. As
you
I
21 cents over budget, Donnie.
But it's key. It's key. It's critical, especially, as we're talking about people have goals, aspirations. I agree with you. I came out of school and my parents, I never rented. I was fortunate enough to be able to go home, save, and I bought my first place when I got married.
So did your husband have to bring you like a dowry?
No, and my husband's an accountant by background, so he's.
I was going to say, your daddy did. Knowing your daddy, he did a credit check before a young man even came to dinner. He did a criminal. Let's put it out there. You got to check their health. You got to check their mental health, and you got to check their criminal record. Somebody checking. Uncle Andre, who the state trooper. Well, yeah. What's his name again? Okay, I'll be right back to you. They came back with a report on the young man before he was even finished his macaroni and cheese.
Yeah. So so I want to share with you and anyone listening some of the, like, because you mentioned the beginning of how do we change the schools? How do we change the children? I know that there was a gap because I went to school and colleges where no one, except for my parents, schools don't teach you about finances. Schools don't teach you about basic things in life.
I got to get this in and I'm going to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I remember down in Atlanta, the first year in Morehouse,
mm-hmm.
I started getting these letters about credit cards. I didn't go for it because I was having way too much fun. But I remember no one had schooled me about credit cards, what not to do. I don't blame anyone, but no one schooled me. And if I had it, I wish someone would have schooled me like, look, this is how you do it. My sister tried a couple years too late. Well, because you'd already started spending. You started juggling the student loan money, the Pell Grant money, getting the refunds, getting books, selling back books. And that book thing is a big sham. I have not cussed this whole show, but books are a sham. That formula from last year's book did not change in this year's book, and they robbing us. Okay, I shut up.
Yeah, so like you mentioned in school, so I see that gap there, Donnie, and one of my goals and objectives and what I continue to do, and anyone like listening, is I'm big on seminars where it's education. So getting into the colleges, there's so many local colleges here of why not get in, and it's not just me, it's lending experts, other people that can share what does it mean to own a home? What is the rent versus buying? To me, it's that knowledge. It's the empowerment of that. So getting into the secondary schools and the colleges, that's a big thing that I really want to, push and break through to provide that information. And then always just being a resource, as people have questions, because then students go home. They can also it doesn't always have to be the adults, educating the children, but can be vice versa, as kids are in colleges.
They are so impatient with us. Ask a little kid how to do something on the iPhone.
Yeah, this is how you do it. I know it's a different generation. And the same. So that's my big thing, Donnie, is the education piece. Also, there's things that happen. People pass. People are, die. There's the big baby boomers that are coming out here of seniors that need to have a change of lifestyle. My passion is helping others, and there's many life situations and circumstances that happen. And I just want to be that conduit to say, okay, this is your life situation. How can I help you so it's not a burden, it's not stressful, and be that resource to help. So that's really like the bottom line for me.
I have a contribution to this part of the discussion where I'm the expert. You're not the expert. I'm the expert this time.
Absolutely.
My daddy was an undertaker. And along that same vein of conversation you were having, we don't like to have the conversation of what if, what when you die.
Correct.
Care to handle that? Like the insurance.
Sure.
Like
correct. Getting your stuff in order, your burial stuff, everything.
I will tell you this. Every family has a clown. You may not know who that clown is, but you will find out by that funeral who the family clown is. Okay, that was my contribution.
Yeah, so any of those pockets of individuals, and Donnie, that's right now my passion. It's not like it's a new message, like how you were saying it earlier, because the process, the home ownership, getting into the home, maintaining the home, or if you need to downsize because of your age, or a lot of people, unfortunately, going through divorces. Someone needs to leave or sell. These are circumstances that can be stressful, that can be strenuous. Even say like military folks where they don't set their own schedule. Uncle Sam gives them orders and they go places. To me, that's where people need other people most. And with my passion of just developing people, helping others, that's the conduit. I want to be that conduit, that person to relieve. You know, all of us have seen and been around family and friends that have been in various situations, and you don't want to react, but you want to be able to collaborate with other professionals and people to be able to help the people that we're saying we're serving. Are we helping to serve our young people so that they're educated on financials so that they can be successful? Are we helping with seniors as they're aging and need to move and downsize? Where I see many times in 55 plus communities, like where my parents live, where their family, they don't have family around. No one's helping them. And it's, you know, I feel bad, it's shameful, but I also look at, well, how can I be a conduit to help?
So you're talking about, what was that, legacy? Is that legacy where you're talking about the passing of property on, whether it's estate planning, whether it's who's going to inherit the property? Is that where you're going?
I mean, that's if the children choose, but a lot of times you know, children don't want to live in the home where their parents were and they want to sell it.
So it's not just the Baltimore City thing, because we see it all the time where the parent gets older or they die. The child doesn't want the house in Baltimore City. They move elsewhere, and we have another vacant house to add to the 15,000 vacants. But interestingly, non-Black people are coming in and buying these properties. Harlem, Southeast DC, parts of Baltimore, Brooklyn, New York. We had a chance to buy these homes in certain instances for $1, the brownstones in Harlem, but we were like, nah, because the wifey want to live out there in Randallstown or Bowie, and we end up selling or losing property. Is that gentrification, or is that more like abandonment? Because we're quick to play the victim. They gentrifying. But it's hard to get a sister to want to move to Sandtown. She'd rather move to Owens Mills, even though they prefab and they aren't put together all of that great for $300,000. Okay, that's a lot I threw at you. Woosah.
I mean, that's choices, but again, it's you're talking about the transition and the revitalization and being able to, because everyone can't do that. Like the shells and the guts, everyone's not for that, which I can appreciate, I can understand.
But it's harder for us. There's a larger wealth gap between the Black community and the white community. We may not have money. I think there's a difference between being broke and being poor.
Yes, it's a mindset. It's a mentality.
We may have not had all of the money that we would have liked, but there were certain values that that grandma, hang up your clothes. Before you go shovel Miss Jones' front, shovel your own front. On Saturdays, could you go outside without doing chores?
No.
You mentioned chores, and it's like, oh my God, these people think you cussing at them. You gonna get that bleach, and you gonna hit that damn floor, and you gonna like it. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I mean, and that's the thing. What I'm finding, Donnie, and I hope it breaks down. I don't know if COVID or just everyone's so focused just on what am I doing and what do I get out of something versus, I can't do this on my own. You can't do this on your own, Donnie. None of us can do life on our own. And there's enough out here for everyone to have their own, to succeed, to do well and be well off. But I find too often that there's always this, it's hard to like break a shell or ask, because I'm not shy to say, hey, why can't I partner with a probate attorney or a divorce attorney to help the clients that you said you're serving, but are you serving them in the full capacity to ensure their success given the situation that they're in? That's something that I find I want to break down those barriers to say, really, why do we get into the profession that we're in? What is our why? What is our motivator? You know, at the end of the day, having a motivator of just money, that's not going to get you but so far, so long. And just internally, like, you're conscious of, you know, together we can achieve more. Together, Donnie, you and I can achieve more. Together, we can do more if we're partnering with the local colleges, if we're partnering with other professionals and folks that say that they're for the community and serving the people in the community. Well, why aren't we working together to achieve that purpose?
Okay, Shameeka, hon, I ain't gonna let you slide no more. Are you in some type of organization?
What organization? No, what do you mean organization?
Girl Scouts, sorority?
No, I never pledged in a sorority. No.
The Masonic thing, Daughters of the Sphinx?
No.
Pentecostal, Holiness, Church of God in Christ, Baptist, Jehovah? You're Jehovah Witness?
No.
I'm just. Where'd you get this service thing from? I'm not. You ain't say Pops. You said Pops gave you 4 years, Virginia Tech, but where's this service? Why do you care?
Part of it is just my gifting. I've taken enough personality tests to know my gifting is that of help and that of administration.
Hold up, what?
Yeah, when you take all the different personality tests to know like what type of person and what motivates you. So when I talk to you and I talk about others of achieving success, your success, Donnie, is also my success. You know, there's nothing, and it's a mindset. There's nothing that you're doing and succeeding that should cause me to not like, to dislike, to be, you know, offended by, to be jealous of. Everyone's got their gifts, their talents, and abilities.
Where'd you learn that?
That's just life. That's who I am, you know.
Hold on, where's
There's
this
power in numbers. There's
you keep throwing these book titles. Where is the test?
Which, the personality tests?
Yes.
Oh, I've taken them at churches, on previous jobs. There's like different types of, because I'm an extrovert. I'm very attentive to detail. And then
like
you get to know yourself.
Huh?
You know, say that again.
Sound like a drill sergeant.
No, most people thought I was in the military, but
yeah. You got your babies doing pre-calc, and they like, Mommy, I'm just trying to watch cartoons. Why are you shoving the Pythagorean theorem down? I'm only 4 years old. I don't have to know the Pythagorean theorem right now.
It's the work ethic. It's more the work ethic. No, you can have fun. But yeah, so that's just a few of the things, Donnie, that, you know, what's on my heart and wanting to see others do well. But that's the thing, Donnie, and that I don't want anyone to be confused. I can't help someone any more than they want to help themselves. So I'm not anyone's coach. I'm not trying to be your therapist, because that's not me. But I will speak from either experience or things I've learned from listening to hear what you challenge you of. Are you thinking? Because again, my engineering hat of being process analytical, to think about what you're saying and act. You know, there's nothing more than saying, Donnie, I have this goal in 6 months to a year, but yet I am not writing down and committing to the steps to ensure I achieve that success. And to me,
you're one of them accountability partner people, right?
Oh, I love accountability is great. And you got to be accountable to yourself too. I mean, we live it. We hold ourselves accountable to what we say we're going to do. Because I'm big on that. If I say I'm going to do something, then I expect you to do it.
My German Shepherd be trying that with me.
Mm-hmm. Actions speak louder than words. You know, you can talk a good game.
My German Shepherd think he my accountability partner. You said you was going to take me out, and they gave you that look like.
You didn't do what you say you were going to do. No, but it's all good. So yeah, just
I got a situation. I still got 6 minutes. Here's a situation. Business owner, they want this beauty salon. So because they are good at doing hair. And so they spot a beauty salon, the rent is right. They go in there, they build it out, and a year later, the landlord is going to do what if they've been doing really well at that establishment?
well, hopefully, if you've been doing good, they'll keep your rent the same.
No,
Yeah.
that's exactly what they're going to go up on. They started counting your money. This empty old ugly
You could
spot
always leave.
was not doing anything. You come in there,
That's negotiation.
Can you
I would
explain
fight and
that?
negotiate that. You know, there's terms, and that's the thing of reading your documents, understanding your rights. I'm big on reading everything. Like, I'm not just going to sign my name next to something. Every paper, everything I'm reading between the lines and understanding what is your leverage. You know, what, and in that example that you said, you come in, you make an investment, you're making a financial, you know, and a commitment to redo this place. You're building your business. That's something, if the landlord, rightfully so, may want to increase the rent.
And
I think that's the
Baltimore, going
leverage.
up on your rent. They are going up on your rent. They see you making money on this dingy spot that wasn't doing anything. They want to double your rent in 1 year. And
Well, then call Shameeka and we'll look for another place.
that's what I was hoping you would say, because I run into so many business owners that take their idea and instead of buying a salon, buying the restaurant. Yep. So even if this particular business goes belly up, you still got some equity. I'm not as smart as you, because pre-count got on my damn nerves, but I can count. I do not mess up numbers, and I would just rather own that land.
Yep. And land is the piece that's valuable. It's not the physical structure and so forth. So people always think, oh, the house and this or that. No, it's the land that is worth of value. You can buy raw land and sit on it. I was talking to a guy last week. He sat on it for 3 years and it went up like 200 grand. Just raw land that he did nothing, because that's the value. When you also talk about, I agree with you, of owning, whether it's residential or commercial space, when you own something, think about outside the box too, that you might have gone into an opportunity of owning a home or commercial space on your own. But how could you twist that mindset and say, well, how can I also earn some income? Is there space that I can section off to where now, if I'm living, say, in a duplex, to where the one part of the unit is they're paying the rent and also possibly paying all, if not a lot, of my mortgage. So now my out of pocket, I can go off and do my budget and say, okay, how can I repeat? How can I repeat this to where when I start paying down a mortgage, if we had a mortgage, I can then start looking at my next property to rinse and repeat and do this over again.
But you're going to learn a very valuable lesson in there. I'm not as experienced as you. Them damn renters. I ain't just letting anybody rent this, because they are part of the team too. And if after a year they got roaches, or they throwing chicken bones out the front door, or they done kicked a hole in the wall, renters, oh my God, that's kind of like the spouse, the mental health check, the credit check, the criminal background.
But you just said it, Donnie, because I've owned 8 homes. All of them except for the one I live in, I've turned into rentals, and I manage my rentals myself because I am a tenant to detail. But it's all on the front end. Yeah, you can't predict the future, and you have to adjust if someone leaves a job or this or that. Well, but what are folks that say?
One more time.
Say, huh?
School me on this front end one more time. I got my checklist. Come on.
Because on the front end, are you meeting your potential? If you are becoming a landlord, are you meeting in person your potential, renters, tenants? Because there's something that happens when you have a face-to-face. You're talking to someone, and can they carry a conversation? What are you learning? What are the nonverbals? And then outside of that, are you checking?
Hold up, coach. What's a nonverbal? Like
Nonverbal
like
is
or they haven't had a haircut in 6 months.
Yeah, one, are they showing up on time? I value my time. Two, when they are, can they have a decent conversation? How are they speaking? What is their presence? You get a natural vibe on people's presence. Things of
So
that nature.
It can't be the Heisman Trophy winner who talked like Herschel Walker.
Okay. Hey, I'm no one. Yeah,
I had to swing on him. He's going up against the Morehouse man. Okay, I'm sorry.
So to finish on that list, like you were saying, if you say you want to leverage, get in a place and you want to duplex and rent it out. Okay, well, first call Shameeka because I can help you. But I'm looking for job stability. Anyone that's a landlord at the end of the day wants to reduce their risk, that you're not going to pay your rent and or mess the place up that you renovated or want to take care of. So I always build in every 6 months. We're going to schedule a walkthrough. I'm going to come and check out the place, check out the plumbing, check out the functionality of all the things. That's something.
Wait a minute. We got to write this down. Before you rent, you let them know up front, every 6 months you're doing an inspection.
It's in the addendum that we sign. It's in an agreement that I'm doing an inspection every 6 months. Even before we even get to sign the lease, I want to see your bank statements because I want to know, do you have, like we talked about, the savings set aside to where if something came up, you lost a job, didn't get a paycheck, then you can still pay me as a landlord.
I would not like you as a landlord if I was not doing my part. Oh my, you accountability.
It sets things up. That your W-2s, W-2s. Yeah, because I want to see your pay stubs. I can verify with your job, how things are going. That, and I'm also doing
Shameeka, you want to know too much.
No, you have to think about reducing the liability from a landlord. If you're the owner, I want to reduce the liability. This is business. When it comes down to landlord tenant, this is business. This is not me being your friend. Like, we can develop a relationship, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure what I've invested in, that it retains its value. Yeah, there's natural wear and tear, but you can afford to live where you're trying to live. And you can show me that in documentation. That's just, to me, that's just basic.
Are you a capitalist?
So those are all things, Donnie, as a wrap, those are all things that I go over with when people are thinking of buying, when they're thinking of investing or moving up. I'm not worried about the home. I can find your home in a day or two. That's the easy part. But let's start foundational and the mindset and really consider your overall goals and lifestyle. When that's in check and we can check in, I can hold you accountable, put you in contact with the lenders and the right people that want to also see you succeed. Once you're set up for success and you're at that train station and that train comes by and the opportunity comes by, boom, you're ready to hop on board. There's no risks. There's no, oh my gosh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. No, we've already set the stage and the path for success. And that's all that I want to do for folks.
You got 2 daughters, 2 sons, or a son and a daughter?
One of each, a son and a daughter.
Oh boy, they gonna catch the blues. Can you imagine when your son finally is going? He's a little kid now, so you imagine he's 18 and he bring his first girlfriend home. I bet you gonna be expecting.
That is crazy.
You are funny. You check the credit report already, like.
Yeah.
She won't be back.
You got to be about something. No, but I do welcome yourself, Donnie, and anyone listening to please reach out.
Well, what information can we put up for you? What do you want people to call, visit?
Yeah, you can call me, text me. My number is 240-565-3027. 240-565-3027. You can call me or text me and we can get things rolling. And my email is shunt, that's Shameeka Hunt, shuntrealty@gmail.com. And I look forward to being of service. SHUNT REALTY.
Is that the
That's not
email or the
realty.
website?
That's my email at gmail.com. I will get right back to you.
That's
And
not
I look,
real. That's
yeah,
not realty at Gmail.
I
I
look
feel
forward
you
to
messed me
helping you
up, and you
achieve.
got an appointment. You got some people you can ready to sell a house to. Okay. Right?
I look forward to it. Yep.
Okay.
We can achieve more together. Let's teamwork and let's make it happen for you.
I'm just curious. Are you interested in ever running for office?
No, I'm not, because I just like to do what I do because it's natural. I do what I do because it's natural. I
It's
don't
a lot of
like the
varieties.
BS. Yeah, I don't like the BS, the lies. I don't like politics in general. I don't watch the news. I don't watch much TV. So
Okay. One other question. Interest rates are up or down right now with this?
interest rates are up.
So that's not good for the home buyer.
It is. And
It
I
is.
would say otherwise. Interest rates are up, but I don't want to focus, and I wouldn't want us to focus on interest rates. Again, it goes down to your debt to income, your goals, your why. Because some people, everyone needs housing. Everyone needs to live somewhere. What is your motivation? And when I see emails all day long where prices are coming down, incentives are being thrown in, people have the opportunity to actually look and do inspections and not just throwing out, offers and bids, paying over the asking price. It's great. And it's one of these opportunities where we said, are you ready? I see this as a big time where investors and other people are going to go out and try to scoop things up, hold on to them as investments. And, real estate is one of those, slow and steadies. You can hold on to it, rent it out, or flip it and sell it when the time, is right.
We have to bring you back. There's so many. I have a bunch more questions. And when you do come back, I'm going to ask you about how much you know about Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman and the properties they own.
Oh, okay. You gave me homework. Okay.
Next time. But you have certainly schooled us. And the biggest thing I heard you say was write it down. Write down your dream. And if you want to own something, then you can't be shopping all the daggone time.
Nope.
And do a credit check before you date them. Okay, I heard that part too. Okay.
Thank you, Donnie. You're the best.
God bless you, Shameeka. God bless you and yours. My name's Donnie
Thank
Glover.
you.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.